Ladies and gentlemen, he's back by popular demand here on the Sports Report, the number one global sports show, because he has taken the professional wrestling world by storm. And at this point, I feel like I've spoken about him literally each and every week, and for very good reasons, because he has recently just cut a promo for Odyssey Pro Wrestling, and he's basically declared an open challenge, open season for anybody on the Odyssey Pro Wrestling roster to step into the ring with him, because now he is the Rat King. He has been our main event. And he was also most notably a part of the KOW Match of the Year in 2019 with our guest who came on the show a few weeks ago, KOW Showcase champion Lucas Neon, of course, a championship that he held along with the BWR Cruiserweight title. But ladies and gentlemen, I have a very good feeling he's not going to be holding those titles. He's going to be holding some world titles very soon in the near and the distant future. He is one of the best in the business. We are always honored to have him here on the Sports Report, the number one global sports show. And without further ado, here on the Sports Report, the number one global sports show, Odyssey Pro Wrestling star, the Red King, Tu Byt. My friend, how are you?
Good. I'm a little annoyed. I'm a little bit annoyed that I have to come over and do this interview. Because to be honest with you, Tom Brice, I'd rather just get this out on the... To begin with, I'd rather just be honest with you right out the beginning. I don't want to do this interview, okay? I'm here because it's stated in my contract that I have to do this interview. You understand that?
Yes, sir. We definitely understand that. You have definitely been out there in the news, in the pro wrestling world, and especially with Odyssey Pro Wrestling. And talk about the video that you just released that has taken the Odyssey Pro Wrestling world and especially the universe by storm.
Well, it's pretty simple. I set up some cameras. I recorded myself. I thought about all of the injustices that I've had to face in my life, and I got really angry. I let my emotions out, okay? And I said, I'm issuing an open challenge to anybody on the Odyssey Pro Wrestling roster, because what I want is championship gold, okay? This is my aim, championship gold, because gold means money, and money means no more sitting up late at night and thinking about what could have been. Money means no more skipping out on meals, no more skipping out on rent, no more worry. And so what I want is the championship gold. And in order to get the championship gold, I'm going to prove a point. So I'm issuing an open challenge to anybody on the Odyssey Pro Wrestling roster. And whoever wants to step in the ring with me, I'll tear you apart. I don't know how, because I don't know who you are, but I will tear you apart bit by bit, piece by piece. And if it means gouging your eyes out, then okay. If it means pulling your hair, if it means wrapping my arms around your neck and putting you in the rat trap, then that's exactly what I'll do, okay? Because I don't care who you are. I don't care what experience you have. I don't care about how much hard work you're putting into this. I'm here for gold, and I'm taking it home.
Ladies and gentlemen, after hearing what Tu Byt has to say, I would tread very lightly if anybody on the Odyssey Pro Wrestling roster. And Tu Byt, I almost feel like it's a new and improved Tu Byt, even from the last time we spoke with you. Do you feel like a changed man?
No, I'm still the same old Tu Byt. My outlook on life has never changed, okay? Maybe I've put on some extra pounds. Well, I call myself the Rat King now. Tom Brice, I've always been the Rat King, okay? I've always been dirty. I've always done whatever it took to win. And you know what? I don't care if people know or don't know that. I'll happily admit that I'll cheat because I don't care. Look, I'm 5'5". Anybody I get in the ring with, guaranteed there's a 95% chance that they're going to be twice the size of me. All right. So I have to cheat. I have to resort to these kinds of things. I have to pull, I have to tug, I have to poke. I have to play the mental games with these people. But I don't sit here and complain and act like I'm twice the man that I was just because I'm wrestling all these big guys. I'll do whatever it takes to win. And that's what I've always been like.
The Rat King has been in the ring with a who's who of wrestlers in prior promotions, and he's held his own. So we have no doubt that he's going to do the same when it comes to Odyssey Pro Wrestling. And when it came to the making of the video, and let me get your thoughts here on this too, but I kind of felt that there was something gritty about it. It kind of reminded me a little bit of a vintage NWO video. Was there any influences here when you made the video?
The influences was how I was feeling. Look, I sat there and I thought for a long time about how every single night I sit there and I'll try and put TV on. I'll try and distract myself, but I can't. And I'll sit there and I'll think about what I've had in my life. And I'll think about the fights that I got into. And I'll think about the fights that my friends got into. And I'll think about the violence that my closest friends got into. It doesn't really make me feel too good. And when I start worrying about not being able to pay rent or not being able to eat food or having to skip meals, that's when my mind starts churning. It starts going, and it'll ramp up and it'll ramp up. And that's when I really start worrying. That's when I really start winding myself up. And so I sat and I thought about that. And I thought about how for years I don't want to feel like that anymore. And how for the last 14 months I've been forced to feel like this. And so I let it out and I sent that to Odyssey.
If there's anybody right now who you would not want to get into the ring with, it's definitely the Rat King, Tu Byt, because we've seen how he's evolved and he's still the same person. If there's anybody going to have a huge 2021, I think Tu Byt is the guy that he's going to be the guy that you're going to remember his name for a very, very long time. And that's why we're happy to have him back here on the Sports Report, the #1 global sports show here on Sportinarium, talking about his video, which he released to Odyssey Pro Wrestling, declaring open season on anybody on the Odyssey Pro Wrestling roster that wants to step into the ring and step in there with the Rat King Tu Byt. I am the host of the Sports Report, the Reverend Tom Brice. We are talking all things related to Odyssey Pro Wrestling and also to the Rat King Tu Byt. And Tu Byt, also you have Jennifer by your side, and talk about Jennifer being by your side and how this maybe adds to what we're going to see in Odyssey Pro Wrestling here in a few months.
Sweet old Jennifer, eh? Well, look, two heads is better than one, right? And look, I do my research. I just said before, I'm 5'5". I'm not a big... Okay, I need to play the mental game, so I'll do my research with whoever I'm in the ring with. But Jennifer has got some OCD brain to her, and she'll do her research, and she won't stop doing her research. Okay, so when you've got two... I'm not going to say book smart, but I'm going to say street smart. When you've got two very smart people in that ring with you, it doesn't matter whether it's a one-on-one match. You might as well be in a handicap match, okay? Because it's me and Jennifer against you, not just me against you. It's me and Jennifer against you, right? So Jennifer is my plan B. If they're eye gouging, if they're eye raking, they're grabbing you by your nose, if they're pulling you by your ear, if they're wrapping my arms around your neck until you can't breathe anymore, it doesn't work. Jennifer's there as plan B, okay? That's what Jennifer means.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think that Jennifer is well on her way to being the next Paul Heyman, the next Don Callis for the Rat King, Tu Byt. And Tu Byt is on his way to bigger and better things as we get ready to set sail here. August 7th, a few months ago, who would have thought that this day would have even came? But yet here we are, and a rising tide lifts all boats, and we're very excited to see that Odyssey Pro Wrestling is back in action. And we're very curious to see who will actually respond to this open challenge here that the Rat King Tu Byt has put it out there. And he has said, listen, anybody who's ready, step in the ring with me. And he's ready for a big year. And talk about the rat trap, because that was what had me most very curious about this video. So talk about the rat trap and what any wrestler, if they decide to accept this open challenge, what they will be in store for.
Let me describe to you very clearly what happens when I put you in the rat trap. I'll wrap my left arm around your throat. I'll link it up to my right arm. I'll put my hand behind your head and I will squeeze. And I will push your head forward so you can't breathe. And when you're wheezing for air, maybe, just maybe if I'm feeling nice, I'll release it a little bit and you can breathe. And the life starts coming back to you. And then I'll put it in again and I'll squeeze again. And the entire match, which leads up to that point when you think you've got me beat, or when you look down on me like I'm some kind of lower class citizen, and when you think that you have me beat without even a doubt, I'm going to think about all of that and I'm going to squeeze even harder. And I don't know if you've ever been in a sleep, Tom Brice, but when you can't breathe and the room starts spinning around you and you start worrying, you start feeling sick because you don't know what's going on because your brain's only half awake. It's pretty scary. So if you want to accept my open challenge, you better be ready with a puke bag in the back at least, because you're going to be throwing up for the next 2 hours.
Ladies and gentlemen, August 7th, Odyssey Pro Wrestling gets ready to set sail here in Morecambe. And I would wish any wrestler the best of luck, because if you're going to be in the rat trap, Tu Byt, he's already explained what it is. And I don't think anybody on this roster understands what it's going to feel like, because whether you've you've been in a sleeper or you haven't been in a sleeper, I can almost assure you that being in the rat trap will be nothing like you've been in before. So we will certainly see what happens when it comes to that. But Tu Byt, I wanted to ask your thoughts on a couple of different things related to KOW. I know that we had you on the show before in the past and we talked about KOW, but we had on Lucas Neon a few weeks ago and we had asked him about his thoughts on being named Match of the Year in 2019 alongside yourself. And we wanted to get your thoughts on that match for the KOW Showcase Championship, which was your championship, by the way. But we know that you're going to move on now to greener pastures and quite possibly hold a world title, especially in Odyssey Pro Wrestling. And we'll ask you that before we get your closing thoughts. But for our worldwide audience listening here on Sportinarium, and especially for the KOW fans out there in Barrow, I wanted to get your thoughts on being named Match of the Year in 2019 alongside Lucas Neon for the KOW Showcase Championship.
I mean, that's great, I guess. I didn't really look back fondly on that match because that was the match where I lost my trophy, okay? That was the match where I lost a lot of dignity that day. And look, I don't work in conditionals. I don't work in maybe I'll win, maybe I won't. I work in fact. And I worked that I was going to retain that trophy for a very long time. And I lost it. You know what? I'll hold my hands up. Yeah, I lost it. I took the 3 counts. Look, it's great. It's great being named Match of the Year, but I don't really care, okay? Because what I care about is championships and I care about gold. I care about money and I care about being able to live a life where I'm happy. Okay, so cool that I've been named Match of the Year, but there's bigger things on my mind right now, Mr. Tom Brice.
If I said to you that match and also in the top 10 matches of the year in KOW, you were a part of 6 of those matches. If I said to you all those things that you were a part of, and especially what we just talked about here in the match of the year alongside Lucas Neon, laid the groundwork. It set the wheels in motion for the Tu Byt today that I think, tell me what your thoughts are on this, that I think could very well potentially be a world champion, especially now for Odyssey Pro Wrestling. What would be your thoughts to that?
Tom Brice, I just told you, I don't work in conditionals, okay? You sat there saying you could be the champion. I will be the champion, okay? And I'm not just saying that because, I work hard or anything like that. I'm saying it because, yeah, I do work hard, but that's what I expect of myself. I'm saying it because I need the championship. I don't want it. I don't just want to carry a belt around for the look of it. I want the championship because I need the championship. You understand that? And so, yeah, I will be champion. I will be Odyssey Pro Wrestling champion. I will be Knockout Wrestling champion. I will be champion wherever I am because champion means money.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think I just had a question then that I almost got to ask Tu Byt. I mean, he is the Rat King. And what if Tu Byt was the Odyssey Pro Wrestling champion and the KOW champion? Because we understand that KOW very well possibly could be resuming once again in September, which we've talked about here on the show over the past several weeks. And we know that Odyssey Pro Wrestling is getting ready to set sail come August 7th. So we know Odyssey Pro Wrestling is getting ready for their debut card. And then we have KOW. I mean, listen, Tu Byt, what do you say? Being world champion for Odyssey Pro Wrestling and Knockout Pro Wrestling at this point, Tu Byt, maybe we should just name you the champion of Sportinarium. I mean, you would draw us money. I mean, at this point, maybe we should just give you all the gold.
I mean, if you want to give me a cut of Sportinarium money, then go ahead. I'll happily be champion of Sportinarium. But yeah, I mean, I will be champion of Knockout Wrestling and I will be champion of Odyssey Pro Wrestling. In fact, Knockout Wrestling owe me a championship opportunity, I must add. Even if they don't give me that championship opportunity, I will rag people's heads around until they do give me that championship opportunity. It's as simple as that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Morecambe and Barrow may very well have 2 world championships that Tu Byt is going to hold. And at this point, Mr. Trevor Lake, the man behind Sportinarium, is a promoter. He is a fight promoter. And we know that he is involved in a fight next week for a Let Battle Commence on Fight TV, including Lee McAllister that he'll be calling. So maybe we got to make Tu Byt the champion of Fight TV. And also, we know that we're going to also be promoting a match called Battle on the beach here, a card that we'll also see once again in September. So maybe Tu Byt should be the champion of that card. At this point, Mr. Trevor Lake has the big bucks, and Tu Byt is looking for gold. He's looking for money, and at this point, maybe we should make him the champion of Sported Area. Maybe our ratings will go up, and maybe our money will certainly be a lot more than what it is now. But we'll certainly see what happens when it comes to the future of Tu Byt. Regardless, we're very excited to see him returning to the ring. We're very excited that we're going to get the opportunity to watch Odyssey Pro Wrestling come August 7th, and we're hoping that KOW returns. And also stay tuned next week for a major guest that Tu Byt has probably been in the ring with, but we'll keep that for next week. But for you, my friend, we know that you're a busy man. We know that you're getting ready to prepare for something big, something special, and I'm sure another video and anything else that's on your mind with the Odyssey Pro Wrestling universe, and especially to the management. So I'd like to give you the floor. I'd like to give you any closing thoughts. I'd like you to plug all of your social media. That includes Twitter, Instagram, anything else you desire, so we all can keep up to date with all the great things that you're doing. And I also want everybody to follow Odyssey Pro Wrestling on Instagram and Facebook at Odyssey Pro Wrestling, and on Twitter at OPW_UK. So I want to give you the floor, my friend. Plug all of your social media and anything else you want to say out there to our worldwide audience listening here on Sporting Area, and especially to the Odyssey Pro Wrestling management and universe.
Anything I want to say? You can take this as a warning, or you can take it as a statement. You can take it as whatever you like. When I come back to wrestling, and when I come to Odyssey, and when I come to Knockout, and wherever else I go, I will become champion because I said so. And not just because I think I will become champion, but because I know I will become champion. Because I know that I need it more than everybody else. And I will do anything it takes to become champion. I don't care if it's morally wrong. I don't care if it's ethically wrong. I don't care if you don't agree. I will do anything it takes. And whether you, over the last 14 months, have done nothing, or whether you have got an extra pair of 2 abs, or whether you've trained as much as you can, I don't care. Because none of that is going to stop when I'm trying to rip your eyeball out of your socket, okay? No matter what you try and do, I will wrap my arms around your neck. I will put you in the rat trap, and you will go to sleep. Because I don't let go. You can follow me on Twitter at Tu Byt with a full stop in the middle, or you can follow me on Instagram at Tu_Byt. That's spelled TUBYT.
Ladies and gentlemen, everybody follow Tu Byt, because we have a very good feeling about the future for him. We have a very good feeling that he is going to be holding many world titles, and you never know where he may show up. And listen, Sporting Area, Mr. Trevor Lakey, we know you're a busy man, but if we're looking for more ratings, we're looking to draw big bucks, maybe Tu Byt's the guy that we need to build the station around, because clearly he has a plan, he has a vision, and anybody who gets into the rat trap, they're not getting out of it. So for you, my friend, I can't thank you enough as always. I'm looking forward to speaking with you soon. Congratulations on all the success, and we're looking forward to seeing you here back in the ring in a few months.
I'd say thank you, but I don't really care. And also don't call me your friend, because we're not friends.
As we're here on the Sports Report, the #1 global sports show with the Rat King, Tu Byt. Odyssey Pro Wrestling star who has put out an open challenge to anybody on the Odyssey Pro Wrestling roster, as I am America's greatest export, the host of the Sports Report, the Reverend Tom Brice. And stay tuned for more hard-hitting analysis here on the Sports Report and on the Sporting Area as we talk with Wildfire Nate Reese as we preview WrestleMania Backlash. And we certainly hope that we won't see any more zombies anywhere in a pro wrestling ring. And we talk about that among all the latest happenings in the world of professional wrestling, as we were just with Tu Byt, the Rat King, to talk about his open challenge to anybody on the Odyssey Pro Wrestling roster. So stay tuned for Wildfire Nate Reese to talk about all the latest happenings here in the world of professional wrestling here on the Sports Report.